Hey y'all, welcome to Soft Wash Systems Certified Applicator Program, and we're talking about spraying techniques on Windows. And you say, whoo, soft washing Windows? Yeah, you can soft wash Windows. Or at least we need to be very sensitive about the Windows when soft washing. And we're going to talk about some techniques and some tools and some equipment that's going to make that easy on y'all, because there's no use cleaning a house unless you can leave the windows in great shape. So we may make some window cleaners a little uncomfortable here, but we're going to be talking about some techniques that are going to allow us to score much more highly when cleaning a home or a commercial building or an apartment community when we do these nice package deals to clean the entire property. Okay? Again, I'm AC Lockyer, and I'm going to be your guide for this class. All right, so why soft washing windows? Well, you can see here, we got Mr. Frog hiding in here, but there's mold and mildew and bugs and funk and everything up in the crevices of those windows. Soft washing cleans deeper than hand washing these windows. We can get into these cracks and crevices and these layers of this window much easier than hand washing. It's more effective on mold and mildew when these windows get funky. Chemicals work well lifting and freeing the contaminants out of these spaces. And screens are more easily cleaned when you are cleaning the windows with the screens on them, or even if the customer takes the screens off or allows you into the home to pull the screens for them, then they're easy to lay out on the driveway and clean. You don't need to use any of these screen cleaning systems. Soft washing excels at cleaning screens and making them look awesome. Little trick, and we don't discuss it in this class, but I'm going to mention it. So when you finish these screens, there are different screen products that are screen moisturizers. There's one called Screen Magic. A product I like to use is Armor All Tire Foam to spray the screens. So I'll take a piece of plastic and lay it out on the driveway so I can lay these screens on top of it, because I don't want to get Armor All Tire Foam on the driveway or grass or stuff like that. And I'll spray the front of the screen, flip it over, spray the back of the screen, and then let it soak for a few minutes and then wipe it with a rag before I put the screen in. They come out looking brand new. And we charge a lot of money when we clean houses, we clean windows. So those little extra touches make the customers flip out. They get excited when we come in and do that extra stuff on them, because we're going to be 30 to 50% more expensive than any other cleaning company. And when you do that stuff, they figure out why. I mean, I'm crazy about this stuff. If I've got kick plates, you know, those brass kick plates on the front of doors, and they're tarnished and I'm cleaning a home, I'll actually go through and pull the brass kick plates off and the door handle sets, take them back to the truck and go ahead and brasso them down and clean them and polish them, and then spray a little lacquer thinner on them, and then go back and put them back on the house. That's the level of service we give our customers. It sounds crazy, but once you've done that level of service to one of these sometimes multi-million-dollar homes, they brag about you, and you get more multi-million-dollar homes. So remember, we're in the service business, y'all. We're there to serve. Okay? And windows are usually cleaned anyway by default while we're soft washing the exterior of the building. So why not spend a little extra time and get paid for the window cleaning? And there's a reason why. Because we're adding value and service. Cleaning of any kind usually tarnishes the windows. So whether you're pressure washing them or soft washing them, they're going to dry spotted and they're not going to look good. And then that homeowner's going to have to call their window cleaning company out. Well, many times that leads to us losing the job. This poses a huge negative to the customer and allows services that you provide to be passed on to the window cleaner. So we might get hired to clean the roof, but then they're going to have the window cleaner pressure wash the outside of the house because they're going to have them clean the windows anyhow. No, we want to tell them, don't worry about the windows. We do windows all the time. Your windows are going to be cleaner when we get done with them than they would have been with the window cleaning company. It's an opportunity to add value to your soft washing. And soft washing actually cleans windows more thoroughly and more effortlessly than a standard window cleaner would. Now, not if we have to get into scraping with razor blades or using Diamond Magic to buff away scratches or hard water stains. That kind of stuff, we're going to have to train you and teach you how to do. But in this 101 curriculum, we're talking about 80 to 85% of the windows out there you're going to be able to clean using these techniques that we're discussing here. In our 201 and 301 curriculum, we'll go into deeper window cleaning techniques because we want to get the entire envelope of a building. We don't want to walk away from anything that we could clean and could go on our ticket. So let's talk about prepping the customer, setting the customer's expectation. Customer needs to understand that this is not a mop and squeegee window cleaning. So they won't see us putting a mop to the windows and getting the soap on it, and they will not see us squeegeeing the window. Okay, they're not going to see that. That isn't the type of window cleaning we're going to be doing. This is not an interior window cleaning service. But in most cases, this is a great 97% done perfect window cleaning. Set the customer's level of expectation and listen to what the customer might be expecting. Because we'll teach you. We've got window cleaners in our organization, and we can teach you and coach you. And our biggest distributor is a window cleaning supplies company. We can get you proficient at mop and squeegee window cleaning, and at interior window cleaning, and at fixture cleaning, and get that extra business. And right now, in this class, we're talking about that great 97%. Let's deal with that 97% clean first. So let's talk about the actual parts of the window. All right, number one, the major areas that we'll focus on, that's the vernacular that we use, or the buzzwords we use, is number one, the actual casing of the window, the actual wooden casing all the way around. The door jamb, okay, which is just inside the casing. You have the window or door jamb. We sponsor an event every year at the IWCA Window Cleaning Convention. That's an open mic jam session the Soft Wash Systems sponsored, and we call it the IWCA Window Jam, J-A-M-B. The upper sash, okay? So the upper window is called the upper sash. The lower window is called the lower sash. So those two glass pieces that go up and down are the sashes. The channel. Okay, so now you go behind the casing and we go behind the jamb. Back there is the channel, which is probably the most difficult thing to clean, and where soft washing really excels, getting in there and just eating away and all that mold, mildew, and dust and dirt and everything else. But it's also the biggest trouble area, the difference between cleaning the windows with the screens in them or cleaning the windows with the screens removed. If you've got a lot of silt and dust and funk behind the screen inside the channel area, down inside that channel area, you might need to remove all of the screens, because that area will not come clean unless you remove the screens. In some windows, you get very lucky that you can take a screwdriver and pop the screens up and then push them back. Because some screens you have to remove from inside the house. Remember, don't take inside removed screens and try to force them out of the window. You will bend them and break them. But you can take a couple screwdrivers and lift them and then turn around and put a block in between the actual channel and the screen and move that screen back. And then I'll take what's called a baby bottle cleaning brush or a bottle brush and run that underneath in the channel and agitate that bottom part of the channel breaking up that dust and stuff, and rinse the window. Then I'll pull my block out, pull my 2 screwdrivers out, let that screen rest back down there, and I've cleaned the channel without having to remove the screens. Takes some experience, but when you get good at it, it goes very quick and very easy. On the first story windows. On the second story stuff, it's a little more difficult, unless you've got a roof line to walk. Okay, so remember, if you've got a lot of silt buildup in the channel, you might have to remove the screens. Okay? The sill, which is basically the shelf outside the window sill, and the screen itself. So the casing, the jamb, the upper sash, the lower sash, the channel, the sill, and the screen. Those are the major areas that we're going to clean. Soft washing, yes, soft washing the windows. So the tools that you're going to need. Let's talk about the different tools that you're going to need to be a window cleaner. Because when things are all said and done, you are going to be a proficient window cleaner. A little practice. Okay? Number 1, you're going to need your soft washing system to get the mold, mildew, bacteria, fungus, dust, silt, dirt, grime, cobwebs, all of that off of the window. You're going to get that window 80% clean just with your soft washing system. You're going to need an extension pole and a brush for agitating the windows, because we just don't want to hit them with more and stronger chemical. They might need agitated. You're going to need a window mop, which is shown in this picture here. This is what's called a window mop, and we use it for both washing the windows and for going back and touching up streaks on the windows after we've gone around and rinsed all the windows when we're done cleaning them. An actual window squeegee. Sometimes you're going to have to put the blade on the glass, that rubber blade, to go ahead and remove streaks or spots. Final wash, which is soft wash systems finishing soap. It has a high wax content in it, and it's going to go in there and really gloss up and make the windows pop and be beautiful. A water-fed pole and a brush. That's these great carbon fiber poles that extend out to sometimes as much as 70 feet. Really, we use about 25 to 30 footers in our business. And one of those water-fed pole brushes at the top, which is used to apply the pure water and agitate the windows, which leads to a pure water system. And we're going to show you a picture of some of the pure water systems we recommend. You're going to need some terry cloth towels, as well as possibly some microfiber towels. But these are the items you'll need. So as you watch these classes, you may need to go onto our shopping cart system, or if you're at one of our events, purchase these items so that you'll be ready to clean windows. So let's talk about what is pure water. Well, pure water is the term used to describe water that has had the majority of the minerals removed from it, making it pure H2O. Pure water. We've sucked all the minerals out of it. The first way we do it is by running the water through a reverse osmosis system, which gets the water 98% pure. And then we can run it through a deionizing filter, which will get it the rest of the way to 99.9% pure water. This is used so that the windows won't spot or streak. So when you get done cleaning a window, we're going to rinse it and agitate it with this pure water, and then the window will dry spot-free, just like the spot-free rinse at a car wash. Or if you wash your car just before a rainstorm and then it rains on your car, you don't have to hand dry it because it dries spot-free because there's no minerals in rain. Different parts of the country, the water that you have coming out of your tap will sometimes have as much as 12 to 15% of that water minerals, and that's called a TDS, or total dissolved solids in the water. So we'll talk about the TDS here in a moment and what a TDS meter is, but we're trying to get all those minerals out of the water so that our finished rinsed product on the windows dries spot-free. It's very similar to a spot-free rinse on a car wash. So let's talk about your water maker system. It might be one of these reach higher ground systems, which we sell a lot of. Many manufacturers make portable pure water systems called water makers, often mounted on carts like these or that hydropower unit that was on the previous slide. They utilize either cartridges, like this system has cartridges that slip into these housings, or the hydropower system has a bag full of the DI, the deionized or diatomaceous earth that goes in the bag and goes down into that cartridge that sucks all the minerals out of the water. Be sure to purchase a TDS meter, total dissolved solids, so that you can test your water before you run it through your water maker to see if you're going to have to clean it. But also, too, you need to have that TDS so you can test the water coming out of your water maker to see if your cartridges or your bag might need changed and your TDS is too high for your finished polished water. Take a reading and adjust the water maker settings for your desired use. Water-fed poles and brushes. So we like a lot of the Unger stuff. We're an Unger company here. And we use the Enlight series, and here is the Enlight poles and the Enlight brushes for windows. Now, a lot of these windows, once you get them clean and you've soft washed them, you've gotten all the dirt and grime and everything off of them, you'll be able to go back and do maintenances on these homes and businesses, sometimes quarterly, sometimes twice a year. Certainly, maintenances are going to be done with pure water. If you do the windows once a year, you'll likely have to soft wash them or put a brush on them with some of our final wash in water and hand wash the windows before you come back in with the pure water and then agitate them and rinse them off. Okay? So water-fed poles originated from healthcare and OSHA-style laws in Europe. And you say, healthcare and OSHA-style laws in Europe, what does that have to do with building window cleaning equipment? Well, what happened is ladders were outlawed, so these poles and brushes became the norm. And the reason why they outlawed ladders is in these countries that have socialized medicine, like now the United States, but countries that have socialized medicine, they outlawed ladders more than a 6-foot A-frame ladder because people were either falling off the ladders and getting injured and it was costing the state a lot of money and medical costs, or they were lifting the ladders and hurting their backs, and that was costing the state a lot of money in medical costs. So what they did is they just outlawed the ladders. So the window cleaners said, how are we going to get to these windows to clean them? You can't pass an oppressive law like that. And they said, we don't care. You figure it out. So they did. They came up with these super light carbon fiber extendable poles that extend out to as much as 70 feet with these brushes and these pure water systems. So that's where an oppressive governmental law led to the inspiration and the birth of an ingenious product that makes now all of our lives easier. That's the guy turning the lemons into lemonade. The brush is used to agitate the glass and loosen the minerals while the water absorbs the minerals off of the glass. And then windows might need an initial clean before they can be rinsed with pure water. So if they've got a lot of dirt and stuff on them, the pure water is not going to help. You got to get them clean, and then the pure water will pull the actual minerals off of the glass. Because the glass becomes statically charged, and it'll hold those minerals. So the pure water literally sucks it right off the glass. So let's talk about our Final Wash product. Remember, Final Wash, it neutralizes bleach. It's a finishing soap, has a heavy waxing agent in it. It buffers against the future exposure to bleach. It has 1,000 different uses, which one of those is cleaning windows. And it is a great soap for cleaning windows. So let's talk about two terms, hydrophobic versus hydrophilic, which is because it's really important when it comes to how we clean windows. So, phobic equals fear. We know that a phobia is somebody that has a fear of something. Philic means love, like Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Window cleaners using squeegees want hydrophilic glass surfaces. So a hydrophilic glass surface would be a glass surface where the water lays on the glass, kind of that sheeting action. It lays on the glass, it sheets out, and it makes it real easy for them to run a squeegee over the glass. And the squeegee wants to chatter because the water's laying over the glass. Okay? Soft wash window cleaners like us actually want the glass hydrophobic. We want it to bead up like this glass here, so that it repels dirt and it rinses easier with our pure water systems. So mop and squeegee companies like hydrophilic water or glass. They want the glass to love the water. We like the glass hydrophobic, and our final wash product turns glass hydrophobic. It makes the water bead up on the glass like this. So we're going to use final wash to make our glass hydrophobic. So let's talk about cleaning vinyl windows. Okay, the vinyl casement windows. We're going to use almost always a 1% solution or less with a short dwell time cycle. We're not going to leave it on the glass long, so we don't want it to dry on the glass, because then we're going to be razor blade scraping that salt and everything off the glass. You're going to take your truck wash brush on either your water-fed pole or on just a regular stick brush, and you're going to agitate. Remember, you want to agitate the sill, you want to agitate the casing, you want to agitate the channel, the upper and lower sash. You want to agitate all of that. So we're going to give it a good scrub over, okay? And you don't want to hit it directly with water pressure. You want to take your finger and put it over the top of your stream on your bulk rinse unit and make a really nice misty, kind of fan spray and rinse the glass with that, because we don't want to blow some water into the corner of this window and possibly shoot bleach into the house and onto the curtains or the window treatments inside the house. That would be tragic. And then finish off with final wash. Okay, so you're going to come back and spray final wash soap on it, maybe agitate it with the brush a little more. Rinse with cold water to lock the final wash on. It's going to gloss up the glass and make the glass hydrophobic, but it's also going to take all this vinyl frame and just make it really glossy and clean. And it's going to neutralize any bleach that got into the channel or anything else that might possibly create issues. And then you're going to take and come back with your trigger gun on your pure water system, which you can go to our website and see some of the trucks that have been equipped with our 50-gallon buffer tank, with these pure water carts mounted to the top, with a hose reel and a pump system. And then literally all you have to do is just go back and trigger spray with a fan tip, or on the second and third stories with a stream tip, pure water onto that glass and rinse the windows really good with the pure water so they dry spot free. Same thing here. Aluminum casing windows. 1% almost always. The chemical can remove the powder coat, especially on the western exposure. So salespeople, if you've got windows on the western side of the house that see more than 6 hours a day of sunlight, you need to prep the property owner that those powder-coated windows may lose some paint. Many times that powdered paint will have bled down and will have attached itself to the glass. So you might need to use some Diamond Magic or another product called One Restore or something like that to get that oxidation, that oxidized paint off of the glass, because the glass will just magnetically adhere to the glass. A short cycle of dwell time on these aluminum windows. Brush the frame, same protocol, brush the frame and gaskets. No direct water pressure, lightly rinse. Finish off with our final wash and rinse with cold water to lock that wax to the surface, and then pure water, spot-free rinse. They come out beautiful. Wood windows, same thing. Okay, so here's some wood windows. Sometimes they're painted, sometimes they're stained, but wood frames are usually painted or varnished, stained. Customers usually don't keep up with maintenance coats on the varnish or the repaints, so you're probably going to have some wood that's exposed that may bleach out more than the other wood. Cleaning may remove loose paint or varnish. and light or UV damaged varnish may be exposed by bleaching the wood, as I just mentioned. Okay, so if you lose some varnish, like let's say the top part of the window, there's varnish on because the soffit's protected, but the bottom part, that varnish has been UV damaged, this part of the frame may bleach out a little more or get a little bit lighter colored than this part of the window. Salespeople, you need to prepare the customers for that. Because then once we clean them, it'll be time for them to call their painter out and have those windows sanded and brushed with a steel brush, and then have them re-varnished. So let's talk about cleaning storm-style windows. Now, storm windows are a pain in the butt. Awful, 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 awful. And there's good storm windows and there's bad storm windows. So these storm windows here are cool because they have the inner window and then they have a single pane outer window that's very easy to flip up or take off. But some homes, they actually just take two sets of windows and just double install two sets of windows with two upper and lower sashes. And they'll have a gap in between that gets full of bugs and nastiness and everything else. So usually, storm windows are basically a double set of windows, especially the older ones. Two complete installations, double the windows, with a gap in between. Traditional installation before insulated windows became popular. So the reason why they used to take and do two sets of windows is where the weather was really bad and it was cold, you would have that air gap in between so that the cold outside wouldn't translate or radiate through the glass into the home. So you had two sets of windows to protect and the heat inside the home. You need to charge 3 times as much because you're cleaning 3 sides of the glass. So you're charging triple because you're going to be cleaning the outside of the outside window, the inside of the outside window, and the outside of the inside window. It's a pain in the butt, and they take a long time. But there's very few people that will put up with it, and you can demand your price. They're very time-consuming, and some of them, like this one here, swing out. Some of the newer storm windows actually have hinges at the top, and they swing out, which is great. Others are just double applications, and like I mentioned, they're difficult to get to. So I mean, literally, we'll take the big feather dusters and we'll roll the lower sash up a little bit and get that feather duster in there and shoot some soap and chemical and everything in there and just sit there literally inside doing the feather duster thing. Just trying to get all the surfaces inside of there. The big bushy-tailed feather dusters. I mean, they're a pain in the butt. But who else is going to do it? Because they're usually on some big, fancy homes in downtown areas. Like Richmond, Virginia, they have an area called the Fan. And it's because the Fan is a bunch of streets that radiate out from the downtown area. And when you look at it from an aerial view, it looks like a fan. Well, all of those homes are very rich, wealthy, old Richmond homes, but they all have storm windows, and they're a pain in the butt to clean. Let's talk about screens, terrible screens. Yeah, screens. Whew, man. They can be a pain in the butt, and some are easy to take off from the outside, and some of them you have to take out from the inside. I mentioned using my 2 screwdrivers with my wood block to raise the screen and force it in just a hair so I can take a bottle brush and clean the lower area of the channel underneath the screen where there's silt and stuff. But you need to really watch out for screens. Screens are the bane of the existence of window cleaners. Often with soft washing and pure water rinse, they can be cleaned while in place, which is a positive. Like I said, use a screwdriver to create a gap. 2 screwdrivers, block of wood. You can take the screwdrivers and turn them, put them in, lift the window, and turn the screwdrivers on their side. That will hold the window screen up so that when you rinse the bugs and stuff out, they have a place to go out. And then you can slide the screen in and put a little wooden block in there. So you can take a bottle brush and agitate the bottom of the channel. Sometimes doing that's easier than taking out all the screens. The worst thing about taking out all the screens is figuring out where they go back into and waiting for them to dry so that you can go back through the customer's house and put them back in. You don't want to bend or break screens. And if the customer has you remove the screens, make sure you get a hold harmless sign so that if you bend or damage any of the screens, you don't have to replace them. Okay, so like I said, if the sills are badly stained, you may need to still remove those screens. And soft washing, more than anything else, more thoroughly cleans the screens. As opposed to, here's a home here where they were pressure washing it, and the guy that was pressure washing it had a turbo tip on the end of his pressure washer. And when he came in and cleaned the windows, he actually put those squiggly lines in the screens. And he didn't see it until the screens dried and didn't realize he was damaging the screens. So screens are just the bane of the existence of all window cleaners. So proper techniques for removing screens. If able, clean without removing the screens. But if possible, have the customers pre-remove the screens for you and sit them out on the driveway. We'll get them clean and they'll be beautiful. You can remove them, again, like I said, with a signed waiver so that you're not held responsible for any damage or loss of clips or anything else that happened to them. Because here, the clips get lost, but these little plastic corners are the worst. They get damaged from the UV rays from the sun. So sometimes when you're pulling out the screens, these will just deteriorate and just come apart. There are several types of different screen clips. Use equal pressure when removing a screen. Don't twist the frame because you'll bend them or crimp them or break them. And removing the screens many times is going to require, to do it right, access to the home. Let's talk about anodized aluminum window frames on these storefront or retail windows. Bleach-based products and other oxidizing agents, even stuff like simple green, may streak or spot the bronze commercial frames. The chemicals, this is actually not damage you cause, this is damage you uncover because the frames have been oxidized from UV damage from the sun. The issue is that you uncover it, not cause it, because what happens is our chemical gets on there and then cuts through the oxidation and makes little droplet marks on the window frames. These can be buffed out with a light auto finish rubbing compound. Don't use Diamond Magic. Diamond Magic's too coarse. You want to get a light rubbing compound, not a wax, but a rubbing compound. Put it on a terry cloth rag and just buff them out. They buff out real nice. Some cases, if you the salesperson, okay, salesperson, listen to me here. If you notice they're already in bad condition, quote us restoring all the frames. You can get $20, $25 a window just to go in and buff and wax the frames. And literally, you could take a car electric buffer or a buffing wheel on a cordless battery-powered drill and put that rubbing compound on there and buff them out, and they'll look fabulous. And you can also use our Oxy Wash to rub out the oxidation. But in this picture, and you can see it here, here's the frame that got spotted up. And here's the one next to it that I just took some rubbing compound on a rag and just hand buffed out. So here's spotted and here's buffed out. That's the difference. And you can see the buffed out one's nice and glossy. Powder coated frames. Powder coating fails and you need to look for it. Salespeople, technicians, point it out before the customer points it out. Customer points it out first, then we're going to end up paying for it. We point it out first, then we can defend ourselves. Again, it's a condition you uncover, not cause. Document these types of things on your pre-inspection form. Remember, you can call Soft Wash Systems. We have a generic pre-inspection form with our logo on it that you can purchase from us instead of having to print thousands of them. You can purchase them 100, shrunk wrapped together in a packet. Caused by UV damage from the sun or from light, and it's usually focused on the southern and western sides of the home. Other thing, let's talk about hard water stains. You're going to find hard water stains on windows, and I just want to address this so that you know what to do. This is going to be in our 201 and 301 curriculum on Windows, But let's talk about what causes it and how to deal with it a little bit. Okay, it's caused by mineral deposits on the glass, usually caused by irrigation systems. Okay? This is also caused sometimes by repeated washing without a squeegee, okay, from this hard water drying on there and not using a pure water rinse. So if the homeowner's been cleaning their own windows like they would their car, just a mop and soap and water and a rag and then rinsing them with a garden hose, that over a period of time will cause these hard water stains like this. They can be easy to remove, or the stains can be epic to remove. Sometimes easy, sometimes, oh my goodness. Diamond Magic, which is a product we recommend, is a really aggressive rubbing compound made of diamond fines from when they make drill bits and industrial cutting wheels and things like that out of diamonds. They'll end up having like a diamond dust left over. Well, this gentleman that we know that makes this Diamond Magic harvests and buys this diamond dust and puts it into a paste in a bottle, and it's used for cleaning these types of stains off of glass or removing scratches in glass and things like that. But literally, this was a Christian TV station, TV 45, and here were the bad stains, and I took an electric car buffer with Diamond Magic and was able to get it from this, that you couldn't even razor blade the stains off, to this. That's not a before and after picture with a seam in the middle. That's one glass pane, the caulked seam, and the glass pane next to it. It's a great product. And you can also use another product if they're not really bad or too far gone, called One Restore, which is an acid. But you got to watch out because many times this glass has those aluminum, bronze, anodized frames, and the One Restore does not play well with those aluminum frames. So using the acid, you have to be very well trained and have to understand the responsibility of putting acid on glass. You put it on too strong. We've even had situations where glass shatters if you put acid on it too strong. So listen, these are 201 and 301 techniques. I'd rather you use Diamond Magic than One Restore, but those are the two products that do take care of this type of hard water stain. All right, so going back around the home or the business and touching up spots and such. Usually inspect each and every window after the cleaning service and they have dried. Oftentimes, window sills and gaskets can still ooze water after the cleaning, creating droplets or streaks on the glass. Keep a window mop. Remember I showed you that fuzzy window mop with the T-bar. Keep a window mop ready on an extension pole and use a light rubbing alcohol on the mop or some of the different squeegee or window cleaning dressings lightly on the mop. Don't get the mop too wet, but just moist. And you can gently buff those streaks and spots away. So as you see them, you can take that window mop and just kind of rub that streak out. And because the mop wasn't super wet, it didn't create other streaks. It just created kind of a flat, moist area that then dries spot free. So you're going to walk around the house and kind of watch and just touch up those little spots as a final step. All right? Hey, listen. Windows, I used to think, were a deep, dark, magical art. Didn't know, how people cleaned windows until we started hanging out at soft wash systems with a bunch of window cleaners and realized what a wonderful product we had in soft washing that complemented window cleaning and how we could add a lot of value to our customers' cleanings, but also too a lot of bang to the buck in our pocket by adding window cleaning to our service. This is our 101 curriculum, and we taught you some techniques for making sure when you walk away from your home cleanings or business cleanings that you haven't created a negative by spotting up or messing up the glass. You're going to leave it at least as good a condition that it was in before or much better and make some money doing it and have super happy customers. Hey, again, I'm AC Lockyer. I'm so glad you're here. becoming a part of our in-network companies through the Certified Applicator Program. Hey, have an awesome day, go forth, and prosper.